Second person charged in killing of Westmoreland 19-year-old. Detectives assigned to the Westmoreland Police Division has arrested and charged a second man with the murder of 19-year-old Enrico Chambers, otherwise called Rico, who was killed in Johnson Bush in the parish on January 18. He is 30-year-old Javier Bacchus of Johnson's Bush Top Road, Little London in Westmoreland. His co-accused 18-year-old Wade Dennis was charged on January 29. The police say about 9 a.m. on January 18, all three men had a verbal dispute when Dennis and Bacchus threatened Chambers before leaving. The police say they returned shortly after armed with machetes. They allegedly chased Chambers and chopped him multiple times. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The police later apprehended Dennis at the premises at Top Road, Little London. On January 29, Bacchus turned himself into the police and was charged on Friday. Ganja valued at about 12 million seized in St. Elizabeth. The Area 3 Narcotics Division seized over 1,200 pounds of ganja, valued at approximately 12 million, during an operation in Little Park District, St. Elizabeth on Saturday. The police say between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m., they carried out an operation in the area, and upon their approach, 4 men ran from the site and escaped in bushes. They say the ganja was seized and destroyed. No arrest was made in relation to the seizure. Cops charge man following Trenchtown murder probe. Swift action by detectives at the Kingston Western CIB resulted in the arrest and charge of a suspect 1 week after a murder. Charged with murder, possession of a prohibited weapon, unauthorized possession of ammunition, and making use of a firearm to commit a felony is Daquan Scott, 24, from Hill Crescent, Kingston 7. Scott is charged with the killing of 24-year-old Mark French from Eastwood in Kingston 12. French was shot dead near Culture Yard on 1st Street in Trenchtown on January 31st. Reports were that around 10:45 p.m., French was standing at the location when he was approached by 3 men all armed with firearms. The men, police stated, fired shot at the now deceased, hitting him several times. Scott fell to the ground and the men then fled and escaped in the area. Police who rushed to the scene took Scott to the Kingston Public Hospital, where doctors pronounced him dead. Following investigations, detectives held Scott and charged him on Wednesday based on witness statements and after he was positively identified on an identification parade. Cops identified double murder victims. Police have identified 2 men who were shot at Throat Hall in Frankfield, Clarendon on Friday. They are 55-year-old Donald Richards, otherwise called Mackie, an auto body repairman, and William Sharp, 38, a construction worker. Both men were from the same address. An elderly man said to be about 70 years old was also injured in the shooting, the police stated. Reports are that all 3 men were at a garage in the community when 2 white motor cars, one believed to be an Axio, drove up to the location and occupants opened gunfire at them. The now deceased were hit all over their bodies and the now injured man was shot in the shoulder. Richards, the police said, died on the spot, while Sharp and the elderly man were transported to hospital, where Sharp was pronounced dead. The injured man was stabilized and transferred to another hospital, the police stated. 6 men arrested in connection with cocaine ganja bust. 6 people were arrested following the seizure of 3.8 kilograms of cocaine, 55 pounds of ganja, 3 motor vehicles, and over Jamaican $1.3 million in coordinated anti-narcotics operation in Kingston and St. Anne on Thursday, February 8. Reports are that about 1 p.m., operatives from the Narcotics Division conducted an intelligence-led operation at a plaza in Orchard, St. Anne, where they intercepted and searched 2 motor vehicles. The search yielded 3.8 kilograms of cocaine concealed in food packages in one of the vehicles. An additional Jamaican $118,000 were also seized. Both men were taken into custody and the motor vehicle seized. Shortly after, about 3 p.m., a joint operation was conducted with members of the Narcotics Division and Jamaican Customs Contraband Enforcement Team on the compound of the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston. During the operation, a motor vehicle was searched and over 55 pounds of ganja with an estimated street value of Jamaican $540,000 was found concealed in a suitcase in the trunk of a motor car. Lawmen seized Jamaican $1.2 million, which was also found in the car. Subsequently, 4 airport ramp attendants were arrested. 2 have been released following investigative leads. The identities of the 4 men are being withheld as the investigation progresses. Rastafarian convicted for ganja-related offences fined $20,000. A Rastafarian who claimed he is being repeatedly prosecuted by police for having ganja was fined yet again when the matter was called up in court on Thursday. Charles Largy, otherwise called Rasnujos, paid the $20,000 fine and was released. Mr. Largy has been arrested and charged for possession of and dealing in ganja after about 2 pounds of weed was reportedly found inside his recommendal space in Montego Bay, St. James. Under the Dangerous Drug Amendment Act 2015, adherents to the Rastafarian faith are permitted to smoke ganja for sacramental purposes in locations registered as places of Rastafarian worship. The Rastafari and Grassroots Ganja Association, a committee of the Rastafari mansions and organizations, of which Largy is a member, indicated that he has the requisite permit and license to distribute and transport ganja. The group said on numerous previous occasions, when Largy was charged, he just paid the fine, but this time around, the Rastas as a collective opted to challenge the matter in court. They also staged numerous protests over the years leading up to the sentencing, chastising the police, calling on the authorities to respect the Rastaman's sacramental religion rights under the changed dangerous drug law, and raising public awareness about what they deemed to be unfair treatment. Speaking with reporters, Largy pointed out that he does not have a permit for the Cannabis Licensing Authority. He claimed to have documents from the Justice Ministry which outlined an exemption for distribution and transportation of ganja. He said the Rastafarians will continue to fight for their sacramental religious rights for ganja to be respected.
Right now, I could think about going to the CLA, but if you have a right to ganja, and you have your faith and by your faith and by your liberty, you have a right to ganja. And when it comes to sacramental rights, it doesn't say for you to go to CLA to get anything at all concerning sacramental rights according to the law. Why would you just, go to CLA when you have a right to have ganja? We in a couple of meetings with, Delroy Chuck, and them give some documents and send out something in the Gazette, concerning Rastafari. Right. I think them send a letter to the Commissioner of Police to make them to inform that Rastafari, have the right to cultivate ganja and the right to possess ganja and store ganja and all of these things. So all of these discussions are going and documents being sent out to different from the ministry, but I think there's some form of rigmarole going on. Same way, where even though we are this part of this discussion and we have documents or received where we can authorize one, give one an ID concerning root house from the Justice Minister. So, they might give you some of the justice and then they might hold back some. And we don't understand what really about, and I think it's full time now. After 9 years, they should have recognized Rastafari. We have to just continue the fight, and the Rastafari community needs to come together and stand up for them rights. And, kind of the right is there from, 9 years ago now. A judge in the court supposed to know them rights, Yeah, so I just see here in the marginalized Rastaman, even though the background of Jamaica and the economic background of Jamaica build up off of the Rastafari community,
JPs urged to play a more active role in stemming crime. Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck has called on justices of the peace to play a more active role in helping to weed out criminal elements and fostering peace and stability in communities. According to a release on Saturday, Chuck was addressing the JP sensitization session at the Grand Palladium Hotel in Hanover on Friday, said that the public officers have a critical part to play in stemming crime and violence in the society. Every single one of us will have to address the question of how we can assist in reducing the number of murders, violent assaults, and wrongdoings of all kinds in our homes, neighborhoods, communities, parishes, and right across Jamaica, he said. Well, justices of the peace, you have to work closely with the police. You have to tell your community members that if they know of gangsters and gunmen, they must be exposed. We cannot continue to be afraid. The minister urged the officers to get organized through GP Association to be more effective to carry out their duties. He further informed that the government is providing $500,000 support to each JP Association, with an additional $500,000 slated for disbursement by the end of February. He noted the possibility of increased funding in the next financial year. We want the JP associations to be very active to deal with many of the challenges that face our communities and this country. The one that faces us is the violence and the murders, the minister pointed out. We want to get the murder rate below 1,000 in 2024, and every single one of us can play your part. Discuss within your JP association, discuss with one another on how we can remove the quarrels, the dispute and the conflict within your community, because if you save one life, it will assist in reducing the number of murders, he pointed out. The minister also instructed the JPs to direct quarreling families, neighbors, spouses, and friends to utilize the ministry's restorative justice program or victim supports to resolve their conflicts and receiving counseling. The JP sensitization session was the fourth in a series of events being held across the island. Officers from the parishes of St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland took part in the day's activities under the theme Securing Your Legacy. The session included presentation on the services offered by entities under the ministry such as Passport Immigration and Citizenship Agency PICO and the Administrator General's Department, and the roles of JPs in authenticating documents to enable individuals to access these services. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.